Hello, my dear students. How are you all? Hope you all are doing well in your examinations. So, today I'm going to discuss some tests like Z test, T test, and F tests, which were in your last chapter, that is hypothesis testing. Though we have discussed Z test earlier also, in which we have tested about the population mean. Okay, uh, during our classes, we have discussed that. Here we have more applications of Z tests and in what situation we should apply Z test, T test, and F test. We are going to discuss all these things. And except these three tests, one more test is there, that is chi-square test. For that, we have a separate PPT presentation. Okay, so we will discuss in that PPT about chi-square test. Let's start without wasting too much of time. In a very short summary, I'm going to brief you all that what are Z test, T test, and F tests, and taking some examples also. So come to this is your area under the one-tailed standard normal curve. I've told you about this, how to we check values for different level of significances. Here, as you can see, that value of Z is checked, like if you have Z equals to zero point 0.1, so you will see value in front of zero point 0.1, and if you have suppose Z equals to 0.43, then zero point 0.4 is here, and corresponding to it in the column where you have 0.03, so this value would provide you sorry so let me point it first of all. So so in front we were talking about this value. Okay, so this would be the area of standard normal curve for Z equals to 0.43. You know very well, we have discussed about this a lot. So come to the first application of Z test. This is Z test for hypothesis testing for difference between two population means. So whenever we have given two population means, in that situation also we apply Z test. And let me clear one thing. Z test means normal test, and it is a standard normal variable. Z means standard normal variable. Whenever we have large samples, more than 30, at least it should be more than 30, then we consider it as standard normal variate. Otherwise, if we have less than 30 number of observations, we can apply t-test in that situation. So here in the example, a firm believes that the tires produced by process A on an average lasted longer than tires produced by process B. To test this belief, random samples of tires produced by the two processes were tested, and the results are, so from process A, sample size was 50 and average lifetime in kilometers was 22,400, and even in process B, the sample size was 50 again, and the average lifetime was 21,800, and standard deviation in both the process was same. So is there any evidence at a 5% level of significance that the firm is correct in its belief? What is the belief? Belief is that mu1 and mu2 means population means of both the processes are equal. Or in another way we can say mu1 minus mu2 is equals to 0. And the against the null hypothesis, the alternative hypothesis would be that these population means are not equal. Population means are what? Average lifetimes of tires produced from process A and process B. So now here Z statistics is calculated as x1 bar minus x2 bar minus mu1 minus mu2, and always this mu1 and mu2 would be written under the condition of null hypothesis, means mu1 equals to mu2. If mu1 equals to mu2, then this becomes 0. So your Z statistics remains x1 bar minus x2 bar. And in denominator, sigma x1 bar minus x2 bar, and its value is calculated by under root sigma 1 square upon n1 plus sigma 2 square upon n2. We simply put the values, and we had calculated the value of z as 3. Now if we compare this value from the standard normal curve where z alpha, because this is a two-tail test, okay, mu1 is not equals to mu2, it is a two-tail test. Mu1 can be less than mu2 or can be greater than equals to mu2. That's why here we would take the value of standard normal curve at z alpha by 2. Z alpha by 2 means, because alpha is 0.05, so it would be 0.025. So in the table if you see, for z alpha by 2 means z 0.025, the area of standard normal curve is plus minus 1.645, and this value is lesser than 3. So here what we will do, we will reject h naught is rejected, hence we can conclude that the tires produced by process A last longer than those produced by process B. And why we are doing so, why we are rejecting h naught? During our classes I explained you how do we check standard normal curve area, what is the rejection region. So once again I give you a little uh, reminder about that critical area. So this is your standard normal curve, and in case of two-tail test, this would be your alpha by 2. This area also will be alpha by 2. Our objective is to find value of z which is not coming in this area and in this area. But because z is equals to 3, so z equals to 3 का मतलब ये हो गया, अगर यहाँ पे आपका 1.645 है, so it is going beyond this 1.645, it means it is coming into the rejection region. That's why we have rejected h naught. I hope it is clear now why we are rejecting h naught. So it is all about the testing for difference between two population means. One more example I have given you here. You can check it, easily. You would and again understand how do we test the population differences between the two population means. So I hope that you will do it your own. Even if you have any problem, you are not able to understand this example, you can ask on the WhatsApp group. Let's come to the second application of that test, that is hypothesis testing of single population proportion. So single population proportion means probability of occurrence of any event. So here I have taken an example to understand application of that test for hypothesis testing of single population proportion. Here an auditor claims that 10% of the customers' ledgers accounts are carrying mistakes of posting and balancing. Okay, 10% means probability of occurrence of a mistake is 0.10. Please be clear. A random sample of 600 ledger accounts was taken to test the accuracy of posting and balancing, and 45 mistakes were found. So when sample of 600 ledger accounts was taken, their mistakes were 45. So out of 600 there were 45 mistakes. So if you found the mean proportion, that is p bar, okay, you can see here in the solution, p bar is calculated by from the sample is probability of occurrence of a mistake is 0.075, and n is 600, because here z statistics is calculated as p bar minus p naught upon sigma p bar. So here we are testing the hypothesis that the auditor which is claiming that there is only 10% chances, means p should be 0.10. We are testing it. So always what we do, we take mean from the sample and subtract the value of the proportion under the null hypothesis and divide it by standard deviation from the sample. And here standard deviation कैसे निकालेंगे हम, how to calculate? Its formula is It is same as binomial distribution, I think. Okay, so point P into Q upon N. It is P naught, I should say, into Q naught upon your sample size, that is N. This is simply your sigma P bar. Okay, this is the value of. So here P naught is under H naught, P's value is 0.10, and obviously Q naught means 1 minus P naught, that is 0.90. So always we calculate Z statistic by using this formula, and its value comes minus 2.049. Now from the standard normal curve, again we checked at Z alpha. Okay, Z alpha is equals to minus 1.96 at at 0.05 n, means 5% level of significance. So again here also we are rejecting our H naught, because this value of calculated Z is occurring beyond our Z alpha value, that is minus 1.96 के beyond जा रही है. So it is occurring in the critical region. So what we would say, we would reject the claim by auditor. So in this way, so please be clear here. We should also take care of the uses of Z test, in what situations we are making use of Z test. So once we have learned about the population mean, testing the hypothesis about population mean, second use of Z test was to test the differences between two population means, and this is the third one, population proportion के लिए. Okay, so this is third, and the fourth use or application of Z test is to test the differences between two population proportions. अगर दो population के proportions हमें given है, how to we would test them. So this is again here we have given two populations. First populations proportion would be denoted by P1, and second populations proportion was denoted by P2. Here we are checking, this is a one tail test, P1 should be greater than P2 or not. Okay, does this indicate that advertisement A is more effective than advertisement B if a 5% level of significance is used? So in this case Z statistics is calculated in this way. So P1 bar minus P2 bar, from the given data you can easily calculate it, value of P1 bar and P2 bar, and because under H0 P1 or P2 are equal, so this value of P1 minus P2 becomes 0. Okay, so it would become automatically 0. And what is, how to we would calculate this S P1 bar minus P2 bar? This is the formula. Okay, here I have written the formula to calculate S P1 bar minus P2 bar. It is written in the suffix, so easily you can calculate value of Z. This is 1.131 at 5% level of significance. Let's check that our hypothesis is rejected or accepted, because 1.131 is not coming under the critical region. That's why we would accept H naught. Okay, that's why we are accepting our null hypothesis here. So this was the fourth application or fourth use of Z test. One more example I have taken here. You can study your own. I expect that you would be able to understand this problem of testing proportions of two populations. Okay, now come to the t-test. That was about the z-test. Now we have come to the t-test. So when we are discussing about t-test, obviously the sample size would be less than 30. So please mind it, whenever you are going to apply t-test, the sample size must be less than 30. So here let's take this example. The average breaking strength of steel rods is specified to be 18.5 thousand kg. The breaking strength, a sample of 14 rods was taken to check, है ना, to test लिखा हुआ है ये. This is written as test. ब्रेकिंग स्ट्रेंथ सैंपल ऑफ 14 रोड्स was 14 का सैंपल लिया है, देख सकते हैं आप, इट इज लेस देन 30. द मीन एंड स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन so obtained were this, and this is your mean and this is your standard deviation respectively. Is there any significant deviation in the breaking strength of the roads? So here you have to check population mean. I think you can see here that here also we are testing the null hypothesis about population mean, but why we are applying t-test? Because here sample size is of only 14 roads, or we should say less than 30 observations are there. That's why here we would apply t-test. And t statistics is calculated. It is very easy to solve. T is equals to always sample mean minus population mean divided by standard deviation from the sample. Standard deviation from the sample is always s upon under root n, where s is your standard deviation, which is given as 1.955 thousandths. So you calculated the value of t here minus 1.24. So for to check uh, to check that our null hypothesis is rejected or accepted, again you have to go to the t table. As we have z table, we have t table also, and this is the t table. Whenever you need to apply t test, you must have t table. Okay, let me brief you how you would check the value. Here one more thing is to be clear. Whenever we are going to apply t-test, we must have degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom is calculated sample size minus 1. Here sample size is of 14, so you have to subtract 1 from the 14, and remaining value, that is 13, would be degrees of freedom. So whenever we are applying t-test, it is very important to calculate degrees of freedom. As here he has mentioned that degrees of freedom, df means degrees of freedom, is 13. So the way how do we calculate degrees of freedom is sample size minus 1 simply. And why we do that? Because here we consider that one value from the sample which has come as sample mean is not free at all. Another 13 values are free to have any value, but mean cannot be disturbed or that cannot be touched. So that's why degrees of freedom are always considered as sample size minus 1. So now here uh, T alpha by 2, because it is again a two-tailed test. So T alpha is your point 0.05% level of significance, I think we are doing. Yeah, is there any significant deviation in the breaking strength of the, okay, here we have taken alpha as 0.05, that's why alpha by 2 is coming as 0.025. So at 0.025, let's check the value of t. What is the value of t? So here degrees of freedom are 13. This is the 13 degrees of freedom, and value of t is at 0.025. At 0.025, I think this is the value, 2.16. Okay, 2.16 is the value. So go back to the question. So here T alpha by 2 is minus 2.16. Why we are taking it as minus 2.1? Because our calculated value is negative. That's why we are taking here T alpha by 2 as negative value. If it comes positive, then we take it positive. Otherwise, if it is negative, then also we compare it as with the negative T value. In T table, it is not mentioned that it is positive or negative, but you have to take it according to the calculated value of t. So because calculated value of t is negative, so that's why here we would say it also as minus 2.16. Now how to we would say that it is rejected or accepted? Okay, suppose this is your t distribution, though your t distribution is not symmetric like normal distribution, it is something like skewed, है ना? Or if we say that this is the mu, here t value would be negative and here t would be positive, here negative and here positive. So suppose your area is, this is the area alpha by 2, which is 0.025, and suppose this is t value. For example, suppose mm, t alpha by 2, t means यहाँ पर आपका t जो है that is minus का 2.16. okay, so this is your tabulated value, 2 minus 2.16, because from this area you have checked the value of t from the table, 2.16 at alpha by 2. okay, so this area, where this area ends, the value of t would be minus 2.16, and the calculated value minus 1.24 minus 2.14 would be right to this value, like minus 1.24, suppose here. So this value is not coming in the critical region, so that's why here we would accept h naught. okay, the same concept we are using as we have used in the z test. I hope it is clear now why we are accepting h naught here. So this is all about t-test. So this is the first application of t-test. What is that? The testing population mean with the small samples, less than 30 I mentioned here. Come to the next question. This is the table, we have talked about it. And another example I have taken here, in the same way we have accepted h naught. Okay, you can check it here in this problem. Okay, another application of t-test for hypothesis testing or difference between two population means. Independent samples are there. Okay, so what we are doing, difference between two population means here we are doing. So one thing you have noticed that we apply z-test also to check the difference between two population means. We are applying t-test also, but the thing is that sample size is smaller, less than 30. That's why here we would apply t-test. okay, and the t-test statistics would be calculated by this formula when we are testing population means, differences between two population means, are they equal or not. And here you have given two groups, first group, two group, second group. You have to calculate here means of both the groups. Okay, and you have to calculate the standard deviations also, because here we have to calculate a small s also. This question is completely solved, you can easily check here. So formula to calculate s is summation x1 minus x1 bar square. In the table you can see that we have calculated x1 minus x1 bar whole square, x2 minus x2 bar whole square. So finally putting the value in this formula, we can calculate value of a small s, that is the sample standard deviation, and substituting these values in t statistics, we have calculated value of t as 0.551. Again we will here degrees of freedom. Okay, one more thing here, because we are testing differences between two population means, so here the degrees of freedom would be samples, first sample size plus second sample size minus 2, because here we are having two population means, so that's why here we would subtract 2 from n1 plus n2, so the degrees of freedom would be 14. Alpha is equals to 0.05 means 5% level of significance, degrees of freedom 14. The calculated value is this, is less than its critical value. Critical value is what? From the table it is 2.14, because here your t statistic is positive, that's why t alpha by 2 is also written as positive value. So इससे कम है, that's why we are, what we should do, we should accept h naught. Okay, the same concept of testing we are making use. I think is there any difference between these two? Okay, this is uh, okay, this was case 1, Case 1, which we have just discussed, when population variances are unknown but equal. So population variances we have to calculate it. We have to calculate here sample variance. Okay, population variances are not given and they were unknown, or and they were equal also. Okay, and in the second case, when the population variances are known and unequal, when we have given the population variances and they are unequal, in that situation the sample statistics, t statistics, is calculated like x1 bar minus x2 bar upon s n1 into n2 n1 plus n2. What is the difference in this t statistics and previous? There is no difference, but the difference is in the pooled standard deviation, because here you have given these S1 and S2. So you have given standard deviation from both the populations. So here to calculate this S, we would make use of those known standard deviations, and this is the formula. Otherwise your T statistics is calculated in the same way. So this is the only difference, and the concept of accepting or rejecting hypothesis is the same. So here we have discussed three uses of t-test. First was about population mean, second was differences between two population means, and further this can be divided into two cases: when population variances were unknown and equal, and when variances are known and unequal. So in both the situations we must have to remember that how do we calculate t statistics. Further, we know very well that how do we accept or reject. Another application of t-statistics is t-test for hypothesis testing different to population means independent samples. When population variances are unknown but equal. So this is the case third. Actually, I have not made corrections here. This is case third, and previous was case second, and earliest was case 1. Okay, so when I will send you PPTs, I will make changes, don't worry about that. But here in the video I cannot make those changes. For that, I forgive me please. Okay, this is case 3, when population variances are unknown but equal. They are equal but unknown. Okay, so this is an example where, okay, here you have given the HR manager wishes to see if there has been any change in the ability of trainees after a specific training program. The trainees take an aptitude test before the start of the program and an equivalent one after they have completed it. The scores recorded are given below. Okay, has any taken place at 5% level of significance? ओके, ट्रेनिंग से बिफोर आपके स्कोर दिया हुआ है एंड आफ्टर ट्रेनिंग यू हैव गिवन द स्कोर. So here we are taking null hypothesis that there is no difference. Mu d means there is no difference, means mu d is equals to 0. What is mu d here? Let's see. Wait a minute. Okay, so here we have made a table: before training, after training, difference in the score. So whenever we are testing the hypothesis about the differences of mean, when variances are unknown but equal. Okay, so but where we have given that their variances are equal, I didn't get that. Okay, there might be variances are unknown but equal. Okay, So though here we have to whenever you have given this kind of problem, what you will do, before training and after training scores, you take the differences and make it square, and your d bar would be equals to summation d upon n. This is the simple formula to find mean, and your standard deviation about these differences would be summation d square upon n minus 1, summation d ka whole square upon n into n minus 1. So this is your st. Now the t statistics here would be t is equals to t bar d bar minus mu d. Mu d is obviously 0, because here we have taken under the null hypothesis that there is no difference. Means the before training and after training the results are same. We are testing this hypothesis. That's why mu d is 0. D bar we have calculated minus 5. SD is also we have calculated 9.21, and it comes minus 1.63. So if we compare it with T alpha by 2, this value is greater than T alpha by 2. That's why we should accept our null hypothesis, because it is not coming in the rejection region. So this is the way how to we uh, check that the differences between two means of two population means is significant or not. Now come to the next. This is another example I have given you for practice purposes. You can check it. Okay. Now come to the F test. F test for hypothesis testing about population variances. So F-test is used to test the variances of two populations. Here I have given you properties of F-distribution. From theory point of view, you can be asked in the examination, write the properties of F-distribution. So let's discuss about these properties. The total area under F-distribution curve is unity, means 1. The value of F-test statistics denoted by F alpha at a particular level of significance. Alpha indicates area of probability, or alpha to the right of F alpha value. The F distribution is positively skewed with a range of 0 to infinite. It is very important. If someone asks you that what is the range of t distribution, you should say it is from minus infinity to plus infinity. What is the range of z test? It is z is statistic, it is also again minus infinity to plus infinity, but in F test it is from 0 to infinite. And the degrees of skewness decreases with the increase in the degrees of freedom. Here also we have to calculate degrees of freedom, because here we test the population variances of two populations. So always here two types of degrees of freedom, one sample and second sample, from one sample and second sample. First sample's degrees of freedom is denoted by small v1, as you can see here. Okay, v1. This v2 is the degrees of freedom from the second sample. For V2 greater than equals to 30, F distribution is approximately normal. So again, because Z test is also used to test the variances of two populations, which we have not discussed in your syllabus. But whenever your sample size is larger than 30, then F distribution automatically follows the normal distribution. Third is the sample variances. S1 square, S2 square are unbiased estimates of population variance, since S1 is greater than S2. Always we put S1 in numerator and S2 in denominator. If the ratio S1 square, S2 square nearly equal to 1, then it indicates that sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square are unequal. On the other hand, a very large or very small value of S1 square upon S2 square indicates differences in the population variances. Obviously, the distribution credited to Sir Donald Fisher is written as, you don't need to remember this form of F distribution. Okay, you can have this property. Uh, you don't need to write this property. Okay, you have to remember this form, otherwise which is not part of your syllabus, है ना? So you write properties till fourth point, and sixth point you can take, like in sixth point the mean and variance of F distribution are, okay, uh, degrees of freedom from the second sample, and v2 minus 2. v2 is greater than 2. Variance would be again dependent on the degrees of freedom, v2, v1, v2. These are actually your sample sizes. Okay, this implies that f distribution has no mean for v2 is less than equals to 2 and no variance for v2 is less than equals to 4. This is a very important property of f distribution. And one more thing I would like to mention here, the f distribution is positively skewed ये ठीक है with the increase in the degrees of freedom v1. Okay, so please remember that v1 doesn't mean that it is sample size, it is just degrees of freedom, and v2 is again degrees of freedom in the denominator or second sample. So like suppose first sample size is of suppose 10 and n2 is your, suppose I say 12, so v1 would be n1 minus 1 and v2 would be n2 minus 1, so it would come 9 and it would come 11. So it should be clear, okay, what are v1 and v2. And the reciprocal property, it is again a very important property, in it is very much used in statistics, in research work also it is used. So f1 minus alpha v2 v1, this is v2 v1 is equals to 1 upon f alpha v2 v1 of f distribution, helps to identify corresponding lower left tail f value from the given upper right tail f values. For example, if alpha is 0.05, v1 is this, v2 is this, the value of 0.95 would be 2.11. Okay, so thus this equals to 1 upon 2.11 equals to 0.47. The variance of f distribution with 1 and n degrees of freedom is same as t distribution with n degrees of freedom. So these out of 8, these 7 properties you can write if it comes in your examination with 10 marks. It may come, it is important. And come to the numerical part, this is the table, f table. I must write here, this is your f table, and this is for 1% level of significance, and here degrees of freedom v1, degrees of freedom 2 v2. This is the f distribution for 5% level of significance. Here I have taken an example to understand how to we apply f-test. The following figures relate to the number of units of an item produced per shift by two workers A and B for a number of days. A B का दिया हुआ है इसमें, can it infer that worker A is more stable compared to the worker B? Answer using the F-test at 5% level of significance. So in a null hypothesis, we say that variances are equal from both the workers. And here to test f statistics, so first of all we should have in mind that f statistics is calculated with this formula, f equals to sb square upon sa square. We would take value above in the fraction, or we should say in numerator, which has the larger variance. Always we should do that. If a group has a larger variance, we should take it as in the numerator. Okay, please be clear about it. So how do we calculate SB square and SA square? This is the formula, summation x1 minus x1 bar whole square upon n1 minus 1, and for SB square it is divided by n2 minus 1, x2 minus x bar whole square. So after calculating these values, you can calculate value of f. And again the concept of accepting or rejecting null hypothesis is same as we have done in the z test and t test. Because first time we are applying f test, let me tell you from the table itself that how we are accepting or rejecting here. Here at 5% of level of significance, v1 is 10 and v2 is 8. Okay, v1 is 10 and v2 is 8. So come to the f table. This is the f table. v1 is 10 means this. Okay, v1, and V2 is 8 means this value, and 5% of level of significance, this is, I think this is the value 3.07. So 3 point, he has taken a 3.35, 8 second, 3.35, and what was our value? 3.35. Why he has taken 3.35? It is 3.07 at 5% level of significance. Okay, 8 second, let me count the numbers. Here n1 is 9. Yes, n1 is 9. Okay, and what is n2? N2 is 11. N2 is 11. Okay, so here I think he has taken wrong. 8 second. N2 has, which has the larger variance? SP B. It means this. Yes, 10 and 8. Yes, 10 and 8. V1 is 10. V1 is 10. We have taken. This is 8. It should be 3.07. I don't know why he has written here 3.35. There must be some mistake he has done. Okay, now we have to compare this with 3.8. So because our calculated value is greater than our tabulated value, that's why our hypothesis should be rejected, and it is happening here. So the same concept we are making use of to accept or reject a null hypothesis. The main thing is to apply F test and calculate F statistic here. Okay, I think one more example I have given you for practice purposes. You can go through this example, and this is all about Z test, T test, and F test. I hope you will do all these examples with ease. If anyone comes in your examination, if you have any query, any doubt, you can ask me on WhatsApp group, and wish you good luck. Thank you so much, beta. Bye bye.